Like if I'm late, it's like a day or a couple days, but it was like almost a week. I kind of felt like I didn't really accomplish anything. I was just gonna idea to find myself, y'all. Like, I was supposed to be in the presence of God. That's what I was supposed to be doing. Hey Siri, that is Angel. That Tylenol didn't do anything. The pain was so excruciating. Please tell me I need a lift. Move on to the labor and delivery. So, labor and delivery. At this point, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas passed by, and when I say that I am so done, I'm over it. Like, I'm tired. I'm ready for this baby to be up out of me. So January 4th was my due date, but it's very rare that a child comes out on their due date. And so January 4th was my due date. Crossover service came, y'all. I was at crossover service for context. Crossover service essentially whenever you cross over into the new year. And so that was going 2022 to 2023. So I was dancing, guys. I was dancing because I was like, this baby gotta come out. Nah. Nah. I came home, first Sunday came around because January 1st fell on a Sunday. So first Sunday came around. Anybody who knows and who grew up like in Redeem knows, like, Thanksgiving Sunday, especially the first Thanksgiving Sunday of the year, we finna scatter the place. Okay, I was dancing. I was lit, y'all. That baby was not coming out. So January 4th come around, I go to my doctor's appointment. When I now go to my doctor's appointment, he was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and induce you, because at that point I think my cervix, like, I was like at 1 centimeter. I don't even think I was at I think I was like at half. I don't even think I moved. So he's like, I'm gonna induce you January 8th. I said, oh, thank God. So guys, January 4th comes that night. I come home, I wash my hair, and then I start feeling like cramps, and I'm like, is this Braxton Hicks? I don't really know what's going on. So then but I'm like, it's probably Braxton Hicks. So I wash my hair, and I think I don't know if I didn't even get to braid the hair because the cramps started becoming like more and more intense, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I call my friend Joy, and I'm like, hey Joy. She's like, hey girl. And I'm like cramping, and she was just like, oh yeah, you're having contractions. And I'm like, contractions? Girl, what? She's like, yeah, you're basically like in early labor. Y'all, excuse me, I'm not a medical doctor, so y'all have mercy upon me if I mix up certain terms. So she's like, yeah, you're like in early labor. I'm like, okay. So at this point, the 5th rolls around, and it's becoming like more and more intense. So I call one of my aunties, and I'm like, hey, I need to take you to the hospital. Mind you, it's like, I already had my hospital bag packed. So it's like 8 o'clock, right? It's like 8 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning. And at this point, I'm not working any longer. And so it's 8 o'clock in the morning. She takes me to the hospital, and they were like, you only like 2 centimeters dilated, so you got to go back home. I'm like, ugh. So she takes me to McDonald's. I eat McDonald's. She drops me back at home. She's like, okay. At this point, my friend Lathea calls me. Lathea calls me because Lathea was like, I think she was at a wedding, guys. I think, because what was going on, she's at a wedding. I'm doing everything, guys. I even took a Tylenol. I took a Tylenol. That Tylenol didn't do anything. I took a Tylenol because I was like, the pain was so excruciating. So I was thinking that. I don't know why. Because I text my friend. I text my friend Marion, and I'm like, hey Marion, like, can I take a Tylenol? And I can't quite remember her response, but I don't think she was like on the side of the Tylenol, but I was like, I'm gonna take Tylenol anyway. Like, this pain is excruciating. I'm in the shower, y'all. I'm doing everything that I can, but the pain is like so intense. Finally, the contractions are getting like closer and closer and closer. So I call my auntie, girl, y'all, she is in Fort Worth. So I'm like, bro, I can't wait for her. Once you feel like you've gotten over one, another one comes. Once you feel like you've gotten over another one comes. Once you're like, oh yay, another one comes. It's not funny at all, guys. I mind you, I can't drive in this condition and I don't have a car. So I'm like trying to get a Lyft or Uber, but I cannot, guys. I can't even think. I'm like, hey Siri, call that FaceTime Diamonds on Joe. I'm laughing because like thinking about it is like, so like she hears Siri FaceTimes her. Diamond's like, hey friend. I'm like, Diamond, please help me, I need a Lyft. She's like, friend, I need you to breathe. Oh my god, I can't breathe. I said, I'll pay you back. She's like, girl, ain't nobody worried about no. Because that goes to show you, why are you worrying about paying somebody back, like, sis? So I'm like, I'll pay you back. I just need you to order me a Lyft, because I literally, y'all cannot think. Like, I could not think. The pain was so, it was just coming and going. So finally, she orders me the Lyft. I change my clothes. How I managed to change my clothes, I don't know, because I think, I don't remember what I was wearing, but I had to change my clothes essentially. I changed my clothes. I get downstairs. I get in the Lyft. Finally, the driver is like, I'm on FaceTime with Diamonds, and the Lyft driver is like, poor thing. He is like, oh my god, I did not think I was picking up a woman that's in labor. So the Lyft driver like takes me to the hospital, and then that Nigerian auntie, if I see you, it's on site. She's like, you're back again. You didn't have this baby, girl. No, obviously not. I'm here. Screaming. She's like, okay, well, we need your name. You don't need my name, because clearly you recognize me. I'm trying to think. I can't even think of my name, because again, the contractions are going, they're coming, they're going, they're coming, they're going, they're coming. I'm like, I say my name, y'all. What's your name? And Diamonds is on FaceTime, y'all. Shut up. Diamonds, I love you. Diamonds is like, Daniela, breathe. I'm like, breathe this. I'm like, y'all, it's not funny at all. Finally, I check in, like, because there's a place where you check in first and then you like get admitted. That's when the guy was like, okay, you're 5 centimeters, we'll go ahead and admit you. So they take me like upstairs, and I'm like trying to text my child's father, but I'm not gonna lie, I can't even really think. And in the midst of this, like I go upstairs, my friend Martha comes. She's with me, and then she's with me, and then my auntie, she's still there. So then my other aunt, my mom's older sister, she finally arrives, and then my mom, she arrives, and then y'all, guess who comes? Dr. Shu, girl, with that epidural. Dr. Shu comes with that epidural, and I am so glad to see you. So he's like, tell me to be back. He's like, don't move, child. Them contractions was coming, but your girl was taking it like a champ, because I was ready for epidural. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. Because one, you're not gonna mess up my spine. Two, I was ready. So he does the epidural, and whew, guys, whoever created that thing, people have what they want to say about epidural. That's not our business. Whoever created it, God bless you. But the sad thing is, I was sad because my doctor, he wasn't working that night, so I had to get delivered by Dr. Morgan, he was a good doctor. He listened to me. They're dilating like quickly. So I started dilating quickly. I got to like 10 centimeters. Okay, so now it's time to push. Y'all, next time I have a child, I am going to say this. I am going to prepare, because, and my friend Martha was telling me, my sis was telling me, Daniela, walk, do these things. All I knew how to do was just eat. That's all I knew how to do when I was pregnant, because I was so depressed. She was telling me, walk, because you're about to do something really strenuous. I'm like, I'm just eating amala, eating fufu, eating jollof rice, living my best life, eating, not doing the things that I should have did to prepare my body. They're like, okay, now it's time to push, y'all. And then when you push, they're saying that you can't like scrunch your face. You have to just push like you're pooping. But on top of this, you can't feel your legs. So it's very weird. I'm pushing, that baby not coming out. So at this point, guys, I want to say like a few hours passed by. My cervix started like kind of like closing back up. Y'all, my mom and my aunts was in there speaking in tongues, child. They was in there speaking in tongues because it started closing back up. I'm like, oh my God. They speaking in tongues, it finally like starts expanding again. I start, they keep telling me you gotta push, and at the same time my legs is lifted high. Everybody's seeing everything, and my aunts Plus the nurses are helping lift my legs. And I'm like I'm pushing, and basically essentially they had to like do some different method because that regular pushing, it wasn't working. So shout out to the hospital I gave birth at, because before I even gave birth, guys, I heard so many stories of black women. Your girl was speaking in tongues every day, praying over that hospital. The nurses that would be there, like those nurses would be specifically designed for me. They will listen to me, like, because it's warfare. A woman takes in, there's a possibility she could die. Because so it's literally warfare when you're housing another life inside of you. So even the delivery process, low-key, is warfare. Finally, though, I'm pushing give me that new technique. I'm pushing the baby out. The baby is like coming. But I need to caveat in this part, right, guys? That time when my cervical was like closing up, my mom came to like kind of like, console me. There was like blood on my back. My epidural had came out. And so at this point it was wearing off on my right leg, but my left leg was still numb. And so they had to wait for Dr. Shu to come back to re-administer the epidural. And I think at this point I had been in labor for like almost 20 hours. Like I was over it. And I was like, y'all got like an hour to get this baby out of me, or else I'm having a C-section. I can't do this no more. And I remember the nurse was like, yes, you can. You can do this. No one's having a C-section. There's no need for that. So the nurses was actually very sweet. They were like, you got this, mama, like it's okay. And they were like, what is your baby's name mean? My son's name means there's nothing too hard for God. And they were like, you see, there's nothing too hard for God right now. You got this. Point, Dr. Shu has to come back and reinstate the epidural, which I would say shout out to my mom for noticing that, because if not, I was noticing that I was kind of feeling some weirdness in my right leg. But shout out to my mom for noticing that, and for coming to have the doctors put back. So Dr. Shu finally comes back up. And then at that point, we get the epidural. They say, okay, it's time to push again. And at this point, guys, his son comes out. After I push, he comes out. They're like, my mom's like, I can see his head. So that's when the actual doctor came in. And then he did one, choo-choo. And he pulled that baby out, child. He pulled that baby out. He came out 9 pounds and like 3 ounces, I want to say, 21.5 inches long. He was a big baby. It was all that fufu I was eating, y'all. It was all that fufu I was eating. Yep. But he was a big baby. He came out healthy, no complications. He did have the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, but it wasn't like tight where it was like suffocating him. And I tore. So I definitely tore. And so we're now into the postpartum and breastfeeding. Postpartum and breastfeeding. So after I had my son, they had to like stitch me up. And then afterwards, they come in, they're like pressing on your stomach, and it's actually crazy. So like, are you gonna breastfeed? And so you're like breastfeeding, and you're like, he's trying to latch, and my son latched pretty well. But y'all, no one tells you that when you're breastfeeding, you're contracting because your uterus is trying to get back to its normal size. And my God, you thought the contractions was done? No. Breastfeeding said, hold up, wait a minute. You thought I was finished. Like, literally, you're still contracting. Like, when that pain is excruciating. It to the point where I didn't even know if I really wanted to breastfeed, because I was so over it. Anyway, breastfeeding, I breastfed for 4.5 months, and then I was over it. I was going through a lot, like, because whenever I did have my son, I still didn't have a stable source of income. I still didn't have a car. And I was like, it just was a lot. And then at that point, because I had a new baby, I was a new mom, I had to like go live with my mom for some time. Breastfeeding for me, I just kind of was over it. My son was an eater. Like, he could eat. Even now, he still can eat. So I just kind of was like, I was over it. That was that. The second thing was the bleeding. I don't even know which one is worse. Like, I feel like the pregnancy is easy, the easiest part. It's the postpartum is, like, my God, I couldn't believe I was bleeding down there. Like, I just thought it was strange. Like, I wasn't soaking, but I was still bleeding down there. How your stomach looks after you have the baby, like, you fake still look pregnant for like almost a month. Like, and even now I look at my stomach and it's just, because your body is trying to essentially get back to where it was. And it's so crazy, bro. Like, I heard that your body, it takes 2 years to recover after having a child. 2 years. 2! That is crazy. The night sweats, like y'all, I would wake up and I would be sweating, like sweating. Even when my son was like 7, 8 months, I was still sweating. Like the night sweats was crazy. Also, like I didn't have postpartum depression, but you will cry because it's like you are so tired. Like you are so, when I say you're tired, you are so tired. Like you are waking up round the clock. You're trying to feed the baby. You're trying to feed yourself. And then on top of that, you still have to clean your house. You still have to do laundry. You still have to, like, there's still things that you have to do. Like, those things don't go away. And so I took a lot of pictures because I knew that I wasn't going to remember. I remember it, but I knew it was like literally the first, I want to say like 6 months is like a whirlwind. It really is a whirlwind. But that's my postpartum story. In conclusion, guys, I do want to say this. Now my son is a year and some change. So he's 18 months. He'll be 18 months next week. And I cannot imagine my life without him. Like, that's my baby, y'all. That is my baby. Like, I love him. I just want to give him the best. And it actually, I think that through having my son truly revealed the Father's heart towards me. And it showed me that, like, if my son were to do something, I would forgive him, and he needs to, you know, become a better person. I feel like that's what God did for me. And I do feel like my son did bring a lot of restoration and healing, not only to me, but to my family. And my son is truly a blessing. And I can't imagine my life without him. Like, he's funny, he's smart, he's very jovial, he loves to like play, he gets very like excited. He's a very sweet kid. A very sweet kid, and he's very smart. Like, some stuff he be doing, I'm like, where did you learn that from? Like, he's very smart. I'm very grateful to God for him. And I also want to use this at the time to just say that, like, if you're feeling guilt or shame about anything, do know that, like, the guilt and shame is from the devil. That's not from God. Like, the Bible says in Romans 8, verse 1, there's no condemnation. That's the one. Romans 8, I think it's Romans 8:1. But I'll make sure I post the correct scripture. Therefore, like, there's no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. And so condemnation and guilt and shame, those are natural emotions that we're going to face because, you know, we're humans and we don't like to mess up, especially if we're truly striving daily to, to please God. But God doesn't condemn you. He forgives you and he wants you to come back to him and you guys work together. When I got my car back, I did change churches though, because I just wanted a fresh start. I didn't have time for aunties to be asking me questions that I'm not ready to start answering. And so I did change churches. My church is actually quite far from my house, about 45 minutes, but it's worth it. And so I did change churches. My son is in the church. Like, I go to the church, and so far it's been good. It's been a great time. And God has truly been faithful in the area of restoration. By the grace of God, I did get a job, but I am still job hunting since, I'm just going to put a caveat, guys. I am job hunting because I got my master's. So I'm now looking for a job that is within the field in which I studied. So I don't want it to make it like I'm not grateful. No, I'm very grateful. By the grace of God, I do have a car now. So I have a car. And so, God, have I moved out? No, I haven't moved out yet. I'm still living with my dad. But y'all, have y'all seen these rent prices? Rent is crazy. So just pray for me. I might do another vlog of me apartment hunting. We'll see. But God has done so much restoration. And then even in my spiritual life, God has just truly showed me that he is a restorer and that he fights for me and that he's got me. So thank you guys for watching. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye for now. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe or else.